Why is it that people say they want a true 3D Mario game? What's wrong with 3D World? Its review scores are high, it had really fun multiplayer, and an impressive number of levels to play through. So why is it that fans aren't accepting this as a true 3D Mario game? The same goes for 3D Land. When a series makes a transition into the third dimension, several precedents are set. People expect this to be how a franchise will perform in its future installments, and this can also be the case for its developers. Where did they take Mario after 64's open level layout? Even bigger open worlds in Sunshine, that had even more to explore. Players assume that this is a natural progression, that the sequel can only be good if it's like the original but bigger, and packed with more stuff. That's not a bad way to make a sequel, mind you. In fact, most second entries in a series are treated this way. However, eventually the gameplay will become stale if it isn't altered in some way. It's entirely possible that the Mario series made this transition too soon, but it's not hard to see why Nintendo might have felt a shift in direction for 3D Mario might have been a good idea. Let's take a look at Zelda. There is a set formula for how 3D Zelda games are made. By the time Skyward Sword released, this formula had become so ingrained in the heads of fans that they decided that it was becoming stale and uninteresting. It took the release of an entire game that nobody even looked at for the developers to decide that they needed to reinvent the wheel. For their next game, they began to question implementing features that up until this point had been major staples in the series. This new fresh take on the Zelda franchise became Breath of the Wild, which, as we all know, obtained perfect to near-perfect scores across all critics. My point is, Nintendo decided that if Zelda's formula wasn't working anymore, they would flip the franchise on its head. Granted, it took Zelda's developers a lot longer than Mario. This might have eventually become an issue for Mario, as they slowly started to shift away from traditional 3D Mario with the Galaxy games, and totally dropped the original concept with 3D Land and World. But because Mario decided to jump away from the formula sooner, they went back to it even faster. This is the direction I think Zelda is going to take in a couple years, but for now I think we're going to stick with the Breath of the Wild formula for at least 2 or 3 more games. But looking at Mario Odyssey, it's clear that Nintendo has decided to fall back on the original 3D Mario layout. I love 3D World. It's a wonderful addition to the 3D Mario games and I welcome it. However, Super Mario Odyssey takes the series back to its roots in the N64 and GameCube. They have attempted to bring Mario back to his original formula, but there are a few reasons why this is a good thing. Clearly, there's the obvious, this is what the fans want right now. 3D Mario games don't come out very often, so when they do, people have really high hopes. Giving the fans what they want is a better way to generate hype and increase sales. In this specific example, returning to an open 3D Mario layout is exactly what the series needs to recover from some untrust that might have been left with fans after Mario 3D World. Again, 3D World is a great game, however, its layout is not something that the fans want right now, which is exactly why Nintendo has done what they've done here. Mario Odyssey is only a stepping stone for creating a 3D Mario that excites players and gives them something new. A great game becomes a masterpiece when it gives the player something that they didn't know they wanted. Nobody's ever said, "This is the greatest game of all time because it follows the formula of the previous games really well and gave me exactly what I was expecting." Players want to be pleasantly surprised. They want to look at a game's mechanic and enemy and say, "Hey, I never would have thought of that, but it's really fun." In the case of Breath of the Wild, if it was another linear Zelda game with 3 dungeons, then you get the Master Sword, then like 7 dungeons after that, and a final boss, it wouldn't be nearly as cool. Nintendo was able to recognize this and decided to throw that all away, and said, "Hey, you don't like the formula, now there's a Zelda game where you could do whatever you want, whenever you want. Have fun." Now, I don't think that would work for Mario, since every game is different, and Mario kinda needs that structure to keep it a Mario game, but that's where different kinds of creativity and unpredictability can come in. Odyssey is incredible, and I want to do a video about the game all on its own, but I believe that Nintendo has the chance to create something greater. While our ukuleles and Mario Odysseys and Hat in Time are setting out to remind us of what 3D platformers once were, it's time for Nintendo to reinvent them again. Reinvent the genre into something unexpected, something original, something that our kids can play, and grow up saying, "The Nintendo games from when I was a kid were the best games ever, just like we did when we were young." I know this video was pretty short. I wrote this script like 6 months before Odyssey came out, and recently I found it again on my Google Drive. I had decided to retool it a bit so that I can still use it, because I thought it still held value. I hope I can make more videos like this in the future on like game design and the industry and all that jazz, but school kind of gets in the way, so we'll see how often I'm going to be able to do this. Also, look forward to a new video that's coming out pretty soon called Brownie Batter, where I play games with my girlfriend Lori. And check out my Let's Play channel that I do with my friends Alex and Nara. It's called Cookies and Cream, and we kind of just sit around and jerk each other off and play games. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and fuck off.